Step into the unknown with the shadow frequency and your host, Matt Wilson, as he takes you where the shadows hum.
Welcome once again to The Shadow Frequency. I'm Juniper, your producer, and I'm digging through this file cabinet as usual. Where is it? I swear this file cabinet has a mind of its own. Every time I reach in, it's like the drawer goes deeper than it should.
Careful, Juniper. Last time you went rummaging around in there, we didn't see you for a good 10 minutes. I thought I was going to have to send in a search party.
Well, somebody's got to dig through this mess. I'm pretty sure this folder was in here yesterday, but now it's like the cabinet just swallowed it.
That's because it's not a normal cabinet. You know it, I know it, our listeners definitely know it. That thing eats time, socks, and probably interns.
Okay, that wasn't me. It just closed itself.
See, I told you, haunted office furniture. And tonight, speaking of strange and unsettling...
All right, welcome listeners to episode 186 of The Shadow Frequency, where we dive into the unsettling corners of the unknown. Tonight, we're peeling back the veil on a chilling topic from the 1970s, extremely low frequency wave experiments, or ELF, where governments allegedly toyed with forces that could bend weather or even human minds. These invisible waves hum at the edge of perception, and the stories around them are as eerie as they are mysterious. Matt, you ready to unravel this one?
Oh, Juniper, you know I'm itching to dig into this. I've got a stack of declassified files here that feel like they're pulsing with secrets.
Right.
This one's going to keep us up at night.
I bet it will. Those files you've got, I had to wrestle them out of some dusty archives, and let me tell you, they gave me the creeps just holding them. All right, Matt, take us into the abyss.
Thanks, Juniper, for digging out this file. It's practically vibrating with strangeness. All right, listeners, let's dive into the shadowy world of extremely low-frequency wave experiments, or ELF, from the 1970s. Picture this, a time when the Cold War's paranoia fueled bizarre experiments, and governments were chasing powers that sound like they belong in a horror novel. ELF waves, with frequencies between 3 and 30 hertz, are so low they're almost inaudible, yet they can travel through the earth, seawater, even your body. And in the 70s, whispers began to spread that these waves were being weaponized, not just for communication, but for something far darker. Let's set the stage. The U.S. military, locked in a technological arms race with the Soviet Union, was obsessed with controlling the uncontrollable. ELF waves were already used for submarine communication because they could penetrate deep oceans. But declassified documents from the era hint at something more sinister. Projects like Sanguine and Seafarer, run by the U.S. Navy, aim to build massive antenna arrays, some stretching miles across the ground, to send ELF signals worldwide. Officially, these were for secure communication with submerged submarines. But the files I'm holding, they suggest experiments went beyond that, into realms that feel like they're ripped from a nightmare. Imagine sprawling underground facilities humming with machinery, sending out waves that could ripple through the atmosphere. By the mid-70s, reports surfaced of strange weather patterns near test sites. In 1976, a small town in Wisconsin near a Project Sanguine test array reported freak storms, torrential rains, and lightning strikes that seemed to come from nowhere. Locals swore the air felt heavy, like it was charged with something unnatural. Then there's the Soviet side. Their woodpecker signal, a relentless ELF pulse detected globally from 1976 to 1989, was so powerful it interfered with radio communications. Some claimed it was a weather control experiment, others something worse. And as an avid young shortwave listener back then, I heard that sound many times. But the real chills come when we talk about human behavior. ELF waves resonate at frequencies close to human brain waves. Alpha, theta, delta. In the 70s, researchers like Dr. Jose Delgado were already experimenting with electromagnetic fields to influence animal and human behavior. Delgado's work showed radio frequencies could alter moods, even trigger specific actions, like making a monkey press a lever or calming an aggressive bull. Declassified CIA documents from 1977 mention Project MK Ultra sub-projects exploring ELF's potential to induce hypnosis or disorientation. Imagine a signal, invisible and silent, slipping into your mind, nudging your thoughts, making you feel off, sleepy, angry, or worse, compliant. There's a story from 1978 buried in a now declassified report about a naval base in Michigan where sailors exposed to ELF tests reported vivid nightmares, some claiming they heard voices whispering commands in the dead of night. The experiments were shut down shortly after, but the records are maddeningly vague about why. Were they controlling the weather, bending storms to their will? Or were they probing something deeper? Our minds, our free will? The files don't say, but the implications are terrifying. These waves could travel through walls, through the earth, through us. If they could manipulate the atmosphere, what could they do to the human soul? All right, Juniper, I'm halfway through this file and I'm already feeling like I need to check under my bed tonight. What do you make of this?
Matt, I'm getting goosebumps just listening. The idea of invisible waves messing with our heads or conjuring storms, it's like the government was playing with forces they didn't fully understand.
Right.
Makes you wonder what else they hid in those shadows.
Right, it's like we're just scratching the surface of something massive. Okay, Juniper, take us to the break, but don't let those waves get you.
Phew, listeners, are you feeling that chill in the air? Episode 186 is diving deep into the eerie world of ELF wave experiments, and I bet you're wondering just how far these shadowy projects went. Were they really bending the weather or slipping into our minds? It's enough to make you double-check your radio at night. Stick around for the second half, where Matt uncovers more unsettling details, but first, let's hand it over to Chris Beach to tell you where to find us. Chris?
Sure, Juniper. Quick reminder, folks. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow the Shadow Frequency on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and any podcast app you use. Our home base is shadowfrequencypodcast.com. You can stream every episode there, read our new Shadow blog posts, grab some paranormal merch, and even drop us a voicemail. Let us know where you're listening from, and we just might play it on an upcoming show. And if you're enjoying what we do and want to help out, consider buying us a coffee. We truly appreciate the support. Back over to Juniper.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Now it's time for our mailbag segment where we fire up the Spectral Cosmic Message Materializer to pull in your thoughts from the void. Let me just flip these arcane switches here. All right. It's humming. Let's see what ghostly missive it's conjured up today. All right, here we go. Let's tear open this ethereal envelope here. All right, this one's from Carolyn D. in Athens, Georgia. She writes, "Hi, Matt and Juniper. I just wanted to tell you both how much I look forward to each new episode of The Shadow Frequency. I usually listen late at night while I'm walking my dog around the old neighborhood here in Athens. The streets are lined with oak trees that creak in the wind, and more than once I've caught myself glancing over my shoulder after you've told a particularly chilling story. One episode that really stuck with me was the one about time slips. We actually have a stretch of road near here where people swear they've seen ghostly horse-drawn carriages appear out of nowhere before vanishing again. I've never seen it myself, but hearing those stories always makes me wonder if we're brushing up against another time or dimension. Thanks for keeping the mystery alive and for making even ordinary nights feel a little more eerie. You've definitely got a loyal listener down here in Georgia. Oh, Caroline, you're braver than me walking those creaky, oak-lined streets at night with our spooky tales in your ears. That ghostly carriage story is giving me chills. Imagine turning a corner and seeing one materialize out of the fog. Thanks for sharing, and keep those eyes peeled on your walks. Listeners, you want to share your own eerie encounters, send them to us at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. All right, Matt, back to you for the second half. Take us deeper into the elf abyss.
Thanks, Juniper, and a big thanks to Caroline for that haunting message. All right, listeners, let's plunge back into the murky world of 1970s ELF wave experiments. We've already talked about the military's obsession with these invisible low-frequency waves and their potential to manipulate weather or even human behavior. But the deeper we go, the stranger it gets. Let's pick up with the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HAARP, which, while not fully operational until the 1990s, had its roots in 70s ELF research. HAARP's predecessor experiments used ELF waves to heat the ionosphere, creating disturbances that could, in theory, alter weather patterns. A 1978 Air Force report buried in the archives describes tests where ELF pulses caused unusual cloud formations over Alaska. The scientists noted unexpected atmospheric anomalies, but the details are redacted, leaving us to wonder, were they summoning storms or something else entirely? Then there's the human side. In 1979, a Soviet research paper claimed ELF waves at 7.3 Hertz, eerily close to the Earth's natural Schumann resonance, could induce trance-like states in test subjects. The paper described volunteers in a lab exposed to ELF signals, reporting visions of shadowy figures or overwhelming feelings of dread. The Soviets called it psychotronic warfare, a term that sent shivers through Western intelligence. The CIA, not to be outdone, funded studies into ELF's effects on memory and decision-making. One chilling account from a 1975 experiment at Stanford Research Institute describes a subject who, after ELF exposure, drew intricate symbols they couldn't explain, as if guided by an unseen force. But it's not just labs and bases. There are stories from civilians near ELF test sites. In 1977, a farming community in Oregon reported livestock acting strangely, cows refusing to eat, dogs howling at nothing. Residents complained of sleeplessness and a persistent hum in the air, like the Earth itself was groaning. The Navy denied any connection to their nearby ELF array, but the timing is uncanny. These waves, with their ability to penetrate everything, could they be reaching into places we can't fully comprehend? Some researchers speculated ELF could tap into the collective unconscious, stirring primal fears or even opening doorways to something else. Now let's address the other side. Skeptics argue there's no hard evidence ELF waves can control minds or weather. A 1980 study by the National Academy of Sciences found that while ELF could influence brain activity in controlled settings, the effects were minimal. Slight changes in mood or alertness, nothing like mind control. They dismissed weather manipulation claims, saying the energy required would be astronomical, far beyond what 70s technology could achieve. But here's the thing. The skeptics rely on what's declassified. What about the files still locked away? The ones that might explain those nightmares, those storms, those symbols. As we wrap this up, consider this. ELF waves are still used today for submarine communication, and HAARP continues ionospheric research. If the 70s experiments were just the beginning, what's happening now in the shadows? Are we still being bathed in these frequencies, unaware of their effects? The truth is out there, listeners, humming just below the surface. Juniper, this one's got me looking at every radio tower with suspicion. What's your take on this second half?
Matt, I'm half expecting to hear a low hum in my headphones right now. The idea that these waves might be still out there doing who knows what is seriously unsettling. I'm going to need a flashlight to get through the studio tonight.
Better make it a big one. All right, Juniper, close us out before we all start hearing voices.
What a ride, listeners. Episode 186 of The Shadow Frequency took us deep into the eerie hum of 1970s ELF wave experiments, where governments might have been tampering with the weather, our minds, or something even stranger. From freak storms to whispered commands in the night, this one's going to linger in the shadows of your thoughts. A huge thanks to Caroline from Athens, Georgia, for that spine-tingling mailbag message. Keep them coming to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Also, don't forget, stop by our website and check out our 24/7 streaming radio, streaming back-to-back Shadow Frequency podcast. Join us next time for more mysteries that make the ordinary feel anything but. Matt, say goodbye.
Stay curious and watch the skies, folks.
Good night, listeners, and keep those frequencies clear.
This episode was produced with a commitment to exploring the unexplained while grounding our discussion in documented discoveries. All interpretations are speculative and intended for entertainment purposes.